So I started off this project thinking that I was hot shit, that I was just gonna make a character doing a walk cycle. I'd have him lean back with a little bit of swagger, and I'm walking back and forth the hallway. My parents are looking at me like, why are you a creepy ghost dude creeping around through our hallways? And I'm like, don't judge me, I'm an artist. And then I realized, wait, I have no idea what I'm doing. So I googled how to do this, and started off a little bit simpler. And of course, our great writers over at Animator Island had a wonderful breakdown for how to go about making a walk cycle. You start with 4 poses, each of these 4 parts of the walk, and then I found another guide that broke down how you actually tween the walk. They recommended drawing it on 3s, so I stuck 2 in-betweens between each of these drawings and made myself a basic little walking animation, which of course I did in our next rough pass style from Taniko, which he calls the Disney style, where you have a flower sack body and scraggly little arms. He describes it better in his video, which you can find below. Once the cycle itself was actually finished, I got to have a little bit of fun doing my timing, so now I have some of the frames are on 2s and some are on 1s, so it gives the character a little bit more weight while he's walking. Only to eventually just end up getting bored with the whole walking cycle. So I decided to add in a little something to get some zest, to get my creative interest back in, and I have him walk up the walls, because I can! And once I have all of my frames, I get to begin the wonderful process of copy and pasting them over and over and over again. It was exhausting. But how I did that was I organized this whole section by dragging a copy of the walk cycle along the timeline and then just copy the drawings individually from there. As for the step up the wall here, I definitely tapped into the mirror selfie skills that I picked up during the King of the Hill commission and stretched myself out a bit to figure out what a perpendicular stepping pose even looks like. Also, side note, see the dots here are a technique that I've been using to keep all my joints distant from frame to frame when the characters make these really drastic pose changes. They're just like little references that I angle about to ensure my legs and arms don't scrunched up when I'm figuring out my initial key poses. As for the torso, I was actually pretty excited because I got to revisit some of the body twisting lessons from ye old Sakaru days and play around with the fold lines that enunciate, express, embellish, clarify, yeah, that clarifying which appendage is leaning forward and which is in the back for support. Quite the wild ride this whole section was. Really glad to only have to do it once. And with that, we get right back to the copy pasting. Only this time we're using Shift to get everything to turn at a 90-degree angle, so that way everything lines up as we go vertically. Also, he felt unbelievably rigid when snapping back into the walk cycle, so I added in some follow-through here just to give him some bend. And just felt right. By the by, for those interested, I'm using here what I've been told is called the heel method for keeping track of all these new walking frames. Now, for me it's the toes, but the gist of it is that you line up each new frame where the heel or toes of the last frame was, and the trick is to only ever care about the foot that's on the ground. If you do that, your character will stay nice and planted from step to step. Technically, you can also achieve the same effect by making your walk cycle into a singular object, then using kinematics and have the cycling GIF dragged or floated across the screen. It pops up in a lot of flash animations to save time, but if you get the timing wrong, your character will look like they're sliding or floating across the screen. Sometimes it works, sometimes not. To each their own. With that, the pasta is complete! And I wanted to figure out, okay, so now storytelling-wise here, I've got a character who's walking up a wall and then comes back down the other side. How do I want to say that? Do I want to do like a portal or a doorway? Doorway! Okay, great. So I decided to do this like dimension door thing, where the doors open up one place, come up at another place. Great. How I actually made the doors was, I have the door that's facing me while it's closed so I can see its thin side, and then as it opens, that thin side disappears into the perspective, while the broad side of the door actually expands, so that way we can see the door open. This is why I couldn't just drag the door image to look like it's opening. I had to, like a cube, one side's disappearing as another side is appearing, and I had to manipulate all of those lines to make that perspective as believable as possible. I'm sure there was a better way I could do it, but that's the best that I could think of. And oh my God, was it hard to figure out how to flip an image. I should not have had to do 5 different Google searches to figure out how to flip a vector in Toon Boom. I'm sure that's me being oblivious and incompetent, but it was giving me like flip with animation, you can mirror the whole screen, flip your whole frames, your time. No, I just wanted to take one vector and flip it. It's in like a drop-down subsection 34BA type of a thing. It's there, but it could have been a little bit more upfront. I'm just saying. Anyways, despite all of that, we got it figured out, got the doors where we wanted to, and now I get to clean up by having him be in front of the doors walking in and behind the doors walking out, making them feel like nice solid objects. And with that, we have a completed animation. So thank you all very much. I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes, and until next time, I hope you have a wonderful however long. Which won't be too long, because I'm going to really try to get back on my weekly schedule. I'm sorry, I'll be better. Thank you for watching.